we're back. We're in a good mood tonight. Dick Shawn is here. Dick Shawn is one of those entertainers, comedians who doesn't follow any direct line at all. He does a lot of street. He can be very brilliant. His one-man show has won numerous awards. Dick will be performing this Sunday night at the Universal Amphitheater here in Hollywood. Will you welcome Dick Shawn?
Just around the corner, that's where I buy my fish. I love jazz. God, I love jazz. I want to thank Mr. Carson for allowing me to do my act. I don't get much of an opportunity to do my act anymore. I've been concentrating in the legitimate theater and doing very well. Last year, I did 4 Broadway shows in 12 weeks. But I'm doing a new one this winter. If you're in New York, please come to see it. It's never been done before. They're taking 2 former hits, combining them into one big musical. It's called Stop, Virginia Woolf, I Want to Get Off. That's a joke. It's not the truth. That's a joke. I do not do jokes. Milton Berle does jokes. He is the best joke teller of them all. I like to deal in curiosity and asking questions, not answers. There are no answers, but a lot of questions. Answers are come about every 10 years. Science discovered new. Oh, there's a new answer, but questions are always here. That's what I like to get into. To me, that's the real humor. At a recent seminar I attended, 3 members of the cloth discussing how did life begin? When does it really begin? Well, the minister stood up and said, I believe it begins at inception. The priest said, no, I believe it happens when the fetus is 2 months old. And the rabbi stood up and said, no, I believe life begins when the children leave home and the dog dies. You see, I'm talking about questions. The curiosity of the human brain. Look where it's gotten us. Anything that man can think of can be done. There's information floating around since the beginning of time, waiting for some form of intelligence to walk into it. That's why you have computers. There's so much information in the world today, there's no room left to write it down. So man devised computers. The computers broke down, they put on supercomputers. The supercomputers are overloaded, on and on. The only logic in America today comes from the computer. When I win a football game, the computer will tell you. When I open up a place of business, the computer will tell you. The only logic today is from the computer. Man's logic means nothing anymore. And maybe it's not too bad an idea. If you realize where the world has come today with man's logic, I say let the machines take over. I have no idea what I'm talking about right now. What I'm trying to say is it's very difficult to find things that are funny today. What used to be funny today is very dangerous. That's why the younger comics act crazy. When I started out as a comic, you had to have ideas. Comics today are like crazy. They match the times. They match the times. Pee Wee Herman is not the kind of man that you hire as a lawyer to represent you in a brain damage case. And the reason the comics act crazy is because everything has become dangerous. When I started out as a comic, you could do sex jokes. Now, dangerous. When I started out as a comic, you could do drug jokes. It was funny, but now, no. Even more dangerous. Religious jokes used to be kind of sweet, but now it's getting very dangerous because America's being divided up. Evolution or creation. Some books are even being rewritten from science. God. When I was a kid, I believed there was a God. I believed that. I saw pictures. To a child, the eye does not lie. Oh, and he had 2 beautiful children, Adam and Eve. Looked like Donnie and Marie Osmond. Sweet kids. And they had 2 sons, Cain and Abel. And they looked like John DeLorean and Klaus von Bülow. And they say they started the world. No, listen. Religion. The other side says no. We were animals at the beginning. Man first walked around as an animal. The closest thing we have to that today is Mick Jagger. Have you noticed that religion and sex are almost interplayed? Because sex reminds us that we are animals, and religion reminds us to deny it. This can create tension called sexual repression, which happened from the beginning of time. In the Middle Ages, under Crusades, the men who went off to war for 400 years to recapture Jerusalem, when they left their wives to make sure they were pure, they were so repressed, they applied chastity belts. This is heavy leather. Thick chastity belts, so when they came home from the battle, the wife would be pure. They had their own key, and they used the key. They would lock it and ride off into battle. Legend have it, though, one day, one particular baron went to his caretaker and said, "You take care of the key. And I go off into battle. If anything happens to me, please give it to my wife." He drove off on his horse. Maybe 100, 200 yards later, I forget, I gotta look this up. He heard the caretaker behind him yelling, "Master! Master!" Well, the baron pulled his horse together and said, "Hold it, what is wrong?" And the caretaker said, "You gave me the wrong key."
Funny stuff.
Not bad.
Yeah, very good. What do you mean not bad?
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah,
I'm going to be doing a lot of that at the amphitheater. I have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, the amphitheater now, that's a big size place.
I know.
Big size
But
place.
you must hurry, because there are only 4,000 choice seats left.
And no twofers either.
This place holds 6,300.
Yeah.
And they asked me 63,000.
No,
What am I
no.
talking about? No, 6,300.
6,300.
Yeah, that's right. Like, forget. Numbers are so impossible for me. 6,300. And I'm not a 6,300 draw. Well, no, my kind of people, they have a small unit. People like them, that's it.
Well,
A couple of members of the band.
Get yourself a big opening act.
Oh, I have an opening act.
Well,
I'm trying something different. I'm having a basketball game, the opening act, and the place is big enough. This is true. And it's going to be between 5 little people.
Yeah.
We don't use the word that begins with an M because it's in bad taste.
I see.
And I want to work. With 5 of them playing a basketball game against 5 7-foot black basketball players. And the little guys have a little basket, and they dunk with the little balls.
Yeah.
And the big guys have the regular basket, and they play each other. They run through each other's legs and things. I was sick and tired of the old shows with the jugglers and the magicians. Remember from the Ed Sullivan Show? That's all they had. America was infatuated with men who could saw women in half and guys who could throw 3 of their balls up in the air.
That's true.
Incredible.
True.
No more. Try
I don't understand yet.
Oh, I'm also working with 3 singers.
3 singers?
Yeah, it's not like the show I did here and there. I'm working with Cat Adams, Ben Page, and Linda Hopkins.
Well, you got that.
Yeah, they're each going to do a number in the middle, I think. So it's going to be a little. It's going to be fun. I like to do that.
How long you got? Bert
One
told me
night.
you got lost in the parking lot today. Is it true?
I was walking around before the show. I like to be alone. I get a chance to think. There's a lot of pressure in this kind of thing. It's like a club date. I mean. This is something else. I'm working the world here. And since I am not the biggest draw in the world, so when you give me America, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Even though it's for very small money.
So, yes, it is. So you were walking around the park?
Walking around, trying to gather my thoughts, because when people come up to you, they talk to you, there's the distraction.
Absolutely.
A person can only think of one thing at a time. I can't think of two things. One thing. Anything else kind of cuts the other in half. I'll think of it, but it'll be split. Because I feel there's just so many things that a person can remember.
Right.
And then every time I learn a new thing, like a new phone number, something falls out.